Our next guest is known for his roles in Love, Hate, Red Rock and more recently Northern Lights. Now, he had a stroke last year and he was just 38 years old.
Joins us now. It is actor and playwright Stephen Jones. Good morning to you, Stephen. Great to have you with us.
Morning, nice to see us.
Listen, we'll get to everything else in a minute, but can you tell us first of all what happened to you last July?
Oh yeah, so last July, a normal Monday. So I thought, walking home from the gym, which serves me right, and. No, I was walking home. I live in the city centre. Felt a jolt down my left arm as I was crossing over the Liffey, and thought that's strange. Okay, take a breath, don't panic. And it wasn't going away, and then I could feel it in my lip on the left side, kind of going numb. And it was really severe, like it was like an electric shock, and a buzzing almost. And I went into a pub. It was lunchtime. Said I might need a bit of help. All right, sit down there, see how you feel. Had a glass of Coke. I went away, I thought, okay, it's grand. Maybe I did something in the gym. Right. Went home, and half an hour later, it was back again, but it was on my head, my arm, my leg, all down the left. So rang an ambulance. And I live close to James's Hospital, so thankfully everything was very quick. Was taken in, given an aspirin to kind of thin the blood, a few checks, and straight in for a CT angiogram, and had an MRI the following day, which revealed I'd had a small stroke.
Okay, you're 38 years old and someone says, you've had a small stroke. That's got to be pretty shocking.
Oh yeah, you're like, what's going on?
Yeah.
No, you have it wrong. That type of. But then they said, listen, it is unusual, and considering like I was a non-smoker and non-drug user and everything like that, no history in the family, so they were like, it's strange, but also it's not. You're not a unicorn here. It's not. There are younger people who have strokes too.
Now that you're aware of what happened, had you had any warning signs? Was there anything else in the lead up to that day that makes you think?
No, not really. Like over the years, very, very sporadically, I would get these kind of lightheaded moments, almost hard to explain what they are. And there's a possibility that can be explored, that it's some kind of form of migraine. I don't get traditional kind of migraines as headaches or anything like that. But that's the next option that they're going to be looking at is with the Falls and Blackout unit to see if they can induce a kind of lightheaded spell in me, and while I monitor to see if something's going on that's beyond the norm.
It's amazing.
So you're still getting tested?
Yeah, like I have a loop recorder implanted in my chest at the moment, which tracks my heart, just in case there's any kind of strange atrial fibrillation, like strange heart rhythms that appear once in a blue moon. Yeah. So that'll stay in there, has a battery life of 3 years. Wow. So I can keep an eye on that. And that's it, yeah. So I don't have an official cause yet, but they say 1 in 3 people never find out why they have one. So in some ways it's good, because they say, well, at least all the tests we're doing so far are normal and clear. Yeah,
so they're looking out for something that could have been big, like it could have been a major event when you were older, maybe. You don't know. Yeah,
well, as I said, like if you're monitored, I'm on essentially a blood thinner, an anticoagulant now for life. Checkups every few months. So the way I look at it is, at least I have that. Maybe if I had just ignored this and it went away by itself in 10 years' time, could have been much more serious.
It's mad, because you think of the fast, the face, arms, speech, time, isn't that what it is? But that didn't happen to you. It was just the arm for you, essentially.
Yeah, that didn't happen. And on the phone with the guy, when I rang the ambulance, he was going through all those checks. Like, are you in front of a mirror? Can you smile?
Okay.
Can you lift your arms up? Is everything, in that sense, is your speech okay? And everything was. So that's why the last thing I was thinking was stroke,
Yeah.
And they call it the silent killer. I'm just looking here at the Irish Heart Foundation as well, just talking about the amount of, high blood pressure. There's certain things people can do, but at the same time, as you were saying, you have no symptoms. You didn't know what was happening, so it's just...
Exactly, and I've done a lot of work with the Irish Heart Foundation since, and a few courses with them, and everyone has a different stroke story, and, I'm in a young stroke survivors network, so it can be sometimes people do it accidentally in the gym. It's people that have blood pressure issues that they never knew about. Wow. Whatever it might be, there's a million different things.
Thank you so much for talking about it today, because we really do appreciate it. We know you've got loads going on, because at the time you were up for you got a call when you were in St. James's about a movie that I think everyone in the country is A, going to have an opinion on, and B, is going to see. Saipan.
Yeah, I was. I just got the news that it was a stroke, and so I had, obviously, your world is kind of coming to a halt, and I was outside the waiting area with my mum, just getting some fresh air. Phone call from my agent to say, you've offered there for a role in Saipan. And as an actor, you get 100 phone calls and 99 of them are no. You get that one yes, so it's meant to be this brilliant moment. And I'm a big football fan, and I had played Roy Keane and I Keane, the music, so I wanted to be involved in it. And I remember being delighted, and as soon as I hung up the phone, just bursting into tears because I hadn't thought about my job or that aspect of my life in the few days I was in hospital. And then I was going, will I be able to act again? Will I be insured to do this movie? Can I do this movie? It's filming in 3 weeks or whatever. So, but thankfully I went and I did the movie and it was all good.
And you got the okay from the hospital? I mean, I can only imagine, like, as you said, bursting into tears. Because I presume you said yes to take the job.
Oh yeah, I always say yes, and then deal with the problem after.
So this is the movie, obviously, Saipan, Mick McCarthy, Roy Keane.
Yes.
Everyone has an opinion on it. In this, it's based on real events, but you are an amalgamation of characters. And you had a good few scenes with Steve Coogan, who plays Mick McCarthy. What was that like?
Yeah, that was great. Met him on day one and got on really well. And we went for dinner, himself and Peter McDonald, because we were his coaching staff, And it's one of those, I've worked with some famous people, let's say, but it's one of those where your friends are like, no, this is Alan Partridge, this is different. They were finally amazed. They were kind of like, oh. So it was a joke. I was sending them screenshots of like a WhatsApp, I have my mate Baz, my mate Andy, and Steve Coogan,
Did you have a side that you were on with the Team Mick, Team Roy?
At the time, I think I was very, very Team Roy.
Yeah.
Because he was our chance to win the World Cup, I think as you get older, you sort of realise in life, in all conflicts, there's always two sides to it,
It's going to be a fascinating show. I mean, everybody's going to be glued to that because, as you said, the whole country were all over that at the time as well. Listen, you're going to be back out on the road again, Fallen to Earth, My Summer with Bowie. Yeah. What's that about?
So it's a one-man show. It's just me for 80 minutes, written by Eugene O'Brien, great playwright. And it's about this guy, Scott Kelly. He's living in Offaly and he's stuck in a rut at home, taking care of his dad, who he doesn't get on great with. He gets the odd bit of security work with his uncle's firm. And long story short, he gets this gig in a big recording studio in the Midlands, kind of based on Grouse Lodge. And it turns out that the person recording there is David Bowie, who's doing his last album. And he's Scott's big hero in life. Like with a lot of musicians or actors, when you're a teenager and things aren't going well and you're in the bedroom alone, Bowie was the guy he turned to. And so they strike up this friendship because Scott is so lovable and innocent in a way and just, says what's on his mind, no filter. And so he spends this summer kind of looking after Bowie, and there's lots of things that go on. I'm simplifying it now. But there's a talent show. He wants to impress this girl in the town, and he goes, well, if I do Ziggy Stardust, then maybe I can get David to give me a hand, But it's
gorgeous.
Eugene is a brilliant way of combining lots of laughs, but with drama and pathos, and it's very real. It's one of the best shows I've ever done, which I meant to give it the hard sell. Yeah, but I sincerely mean it.
That's gorgeous. And have you been just listening to Shane Lowry getting the Offaly accent?
Oh yeah. I went down to Offaly because we did the play 2 years ago originally, Dublin Theatre Festival. So I was down in Offaly. I was getting Eugene to record, voice notes, just to try and get the little.
The little quirks, the THs are different there.
Fun, yeah.
THs are different there.
All right, yeah.
Tell us, Northern Lights season 1, great success. What's the crack of season 2?
Yeah, hopefully. It's just a case of securing the last bit of funding, which is the dilemma for so many people.
But you wrote this as well, so are you in the process of writing season 2?
I have 4 of the 6 episodes complete and kind of gone through the drafts, various different processes to get them to give the green light. We're happy with this script. So people can still watch the first season on the TG4 player. Sorry for shouting out another channel.
You're all good. There on the player.
All going well. Fingers crossed we can get to film season 2 later this year. But who knows?
Elvature loved being in the rain in that scene. I'd say it took you ages. My God, it went on for so long. Listen, Stephen, it's lovely to see you. Thank you so much for coming in.
And so fit and healthy as well.
Looking fantastic.
Being what you've gone through.
So it's the Viking Theatre's production of Falling to Earth, My Summer with Bowie. It's running from the 12th until the 31st of May. You can get tickets at vikingtheatredublin.ie. Stephen Jones, thank you so much for joining us.
We're on the road then afterwards. We're in Cork, Waterford, Belfast.
All over the shop.
Your local theatre, check it out.
You'll find them.
Brilliant, good stuff.
Thanks so much. Now, coming up next, we're exploring how past trends are inspiring the latest fashion must-have.
Plus, later on, we're going to be reviewing the Holy Grail of Pope movies. You're not going to want to miss that. It's the after break.